Hello, everybody, and welcome. Welcome to the second block of the day here at Adobe Live. I'm Evan Abrams, and I'm sitting next to the amazing Cadieux, animator. You're a designer, an illustrator, a multi-hyphenate, multi-slash person.
Just all of them.
Yeah, not like a slash person. Anyway, look, the point is you do many things. You do all the things animation-wise at The Atlantic. Famous news magazine, one of the oldest news magazines.
We
right?
turned 160 last year.
160.
So like super old.
Okay, but also super modern, which is where you bring them.
Relevant.
So check out Caitlin's work. You should follow her on the Twitter. And if you're not familiar, information, all that stuff is in the info tab, so you can see if you're not familiar, and I don't know why you wouldn't be. It's strange, get the net, guys. But today we're going to be talking about some of the fun new features, new to After Effects. We're here in the post-NAB world, post-NAB show, and we plucked you right from NAB. You know, we wanted to get you at your most tired, your most exhilarated and exhausted at the same time. We brought you in. And yeah, what kind of things will you be sharing with us today?
Today I want to show you, first I want to start off kind of getting into templates, mogrts. Those are awesome. I really love working with them actually and building them. And I built all of the mogrts that we use for our graphics package at The Atlantic. I want to show you that. And then, because we just got master properties last week. Was it only last week?
It was.
Wow.
Time flies.
Yeah, and I do want to apologize really quickly. I have a little bit of an NAB cold, so I'm working that out.
Right, so I'm just going to put this pillow in between us.
If you could.
So
it's
we can,
for your own safety.
We can have
I
a bit
see
of,
that there are Kleenex on that side.
That's right.
If we could just
you can have them on your side.
Over here.
And yeah, so while you load up that stuff, I'll say other things you should be aware of. Everybody in the stream, be active in the chat. Everyone here on the Behance chat, make sure you're logged in. And we are giving away that specific, not this pillow, but a pillow that looks exactly like this today. So be active in the chat. That's coming up in the next sort of 30 minutes. So you should be aware and be active in the chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, you should come over to Behance so you can actually win delightful pillows. And as well, you should be competing in our challenge today. The challenge to take some footage and treat it up with some lumetri, some LUTs, and really wow us with how you treat that footage. And you can win a year of Creative Cloud, which is an amazing thing. If you tuned in before, you would have seen some of the entries. You know, we've got 3 of them up. If we can go to sort of my monitor here, we'll see just see briefly those things. So make sure you submit your things. Make sure you get them submitted so you can win. But you gotta log in to win. So there you go. Oh, and this one has gone away. So there we go. So yeah, go to the challenge tab so you can do those. Be active in the chat. And so without further ado, let's crack open some mogrts.
Let's get in there.
Get into it.
Drink them down.
Let's cover ourselves in mogrts for a glossy coat and nails.
Please.
Yeah.
So yeah, I want to show you, and I guess I can open this Finder window really quickly to show you that I have different AE project files set up for all of the different types of mogrts that we have, I guess.
Yeah, so maybe...
Let me talk about the process of this a little bit, I think, like how it actually works. I'd like to drop them into Premiere later just to show you that.
Where does the mogrt come from?
Where does it live?
At the Atlantic. Why mogrt?
So one thing that we do a lot of original animation at The Atlantic, but we also do, you know, we have a ton of documentaries. We do a lot of really amazing documentaries and other, you know, videos that are going to need titles and lower thirds and all of that fun stuff that mogrts are like perfect for. And before mogrts happened, actually, you know, it was like this elaborate process, and it really made it easier for our producers to, you know, just make it all themselves, like get the graphics that they need and put them in there. It really sped up that whole workflow. Because
many producers, let's say, have never opened After Effects,
or
would prefer to not.
No, you see the fear deep in the eye. No, we just don't want to, as much as we can, streamline the process and get it out there faster. And we don't want, and they don't do After Effects, so you know, it's not what they spend the vast majority of their time in. What we ended up doing, I designed the graphics package with another of our animators, our art director now, Jackie Lay, and then I built them all out inside of After Effects. And you can do mogrts in a lot of different ways. You can save them like as a .mogrt file, I believe. How I ended up doing it, because again, just trying to make this the easiest way possible, I export. If you go here to the Essential Graphics panel, this is where all the controls live. And if you go to Export Motion Graphics Template, it'll save it. And I export them into an Adobe library. And so that way, all of our producers are on that library and they can go to Premiere, don't have to worry about After Effects at all, and they can just open Premiere and go to libraries and it's just in there already. And then they can just drag and drop it into the project however they need. And then that's awesome, because then they don't really need to touch After Effects at all, ideally.
They don't need to send you an email, hey, where's my stuff?
No. Sometimes it still happens. I will explain that in a second, too, because there's one thing that I think that's a pretty unique situation for us, where we do have to mess around in After Effects a little bit, but so I'm not going to export that because we don't need that. I just want to show you, I guess, how this is built out. I have this main comp, this lower third, and that is the one, this is where everything is like linked. There's a lot of expressions in here. I can show you guys that too, just I have them in a text file. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time like breaking them down, but to get all of this working. So this lower third comp, this is what I would export into that library. So they only have to worry about one comp. Now, once they have that in Premiere, they get access to all of these handy controls that we've built up.
Okay.
I'll just like pop it open for a second, just so you can see it. It's really big. But we got like changing the text color. We have like the text itself, all of this different stuff. So we have a bunch of different lower thirds. Sometimes we have, people have a super long title. Sometimes people, that we need to have 2 lines for them. Sometimes we just want to switch it up visually. We have these boxes for, if it's on an unreadable background. So just using this slider, you can kind of scroll through every single option we have available. Before this, every single one had to be its own, project file.
Yeah.
They would have to go hunting for them. It was very, there's just a toggle that lets you switch, if I want it over here. Now everything is on the left-hand side.
And then on the right side.
And yes, super simple. And then if you want to, have this be...
That's me.
Evan Abrams.
Ooh.
Welcome to the Atlantic.
Thank you. What do I do at the Atlantic now?
HR.
That sounds like me.
You are an HR person.
I love humans. I love resources. They're my favorite 2 things.
I have these in the 2 lines, so obviously right now this second subtitle is still the staff writer. So you can go in there and change that to like, monkey.
Okay. Well, that's getting less flattering.
Yeah.
Terrific.
We've promoted.
Oh, senior monkey.
Yeah.
Oh.
I didn't want to denigrate all of your achievements. So
Thank you.
We
In human
you.
resources.
And then, we have text color. Also, what I love about these is that, once you set it up, a lot of this is very you go in and meticulously rig all of this up for ease of use. But for example, I have a checkbox to make this white text if you need that. But of course, it does not affect what it doesn't need to affect, because if the text on this one became white,
that'd be a bummer.
It would be nonsensical.
Right.
It just wouldn't work.
It'd be a nice white rectangle.
Yeah, we did not do that. And then you can do stuff like we recently kind of did a rebrand and we switched up our colors. We used to just it was red and black and white. And we still primarily use this red. It's a different red now. It's very juicy. It looks really good. But now we have this kind of nice blue color.
Ooh.
I'm going to zoom way in here so you can actually see this. And then there's a white option too. So all of these controls are super duper simple. And if you want to get into the guts of this a little bit.
Absolutely. And there's folks in the chat here. We got Mason Graham saying we're talking about creating templates for your motion graphics so that everything's interchangeable. That's exactly right. That's the stuff we're up to. But we also have we have Jessica here who says she has no idea about motion graphics, so this is all new. So it's
nice.
It's welcome to the big wide world. Jessica Smitherman, so we're glad to have you, and I think you'll like it here in the motion graphic world.
It's pretty cool.
And this stuff might seem pretty intimidating off the jump, right? Like, oh man, how do what is happening? You're doing all these things, you're clicking all these buttons.
Yeah.
But to someone, if someone has never opened After Effects, this is the only controls they would need to touch, right? It's all right here. So it's super simple, even for those who are afeared of it.
Yeah, and I want to show, that's the one thing I was talking about. So if we change this back to like staff writer, the Atlantic, something we have to do a lot is italicize these. So the one thing that we still can't do in mogrts right now is go into this text and change just like 2 words if we want to italicize the Atlantic but not staff writer. We can't do that right now just using the essential graphics panel. So if I can get into, and this is what's so great is, yeah, you can still use all of those controls that are in there. So if I go into the graphics package, I have like saved out some of these project files to where, you know, it gets rid of a lot of the controls. And now they have access to each comp because I have comps that are on the right-hand side. You do still have to do a little bit of digging. But what's great is, you know, they can still come in here. They still have access to some of these controls if they want to, you know, change the color. They don't need to worry about like getting into there. They can just, they have to manually make the text at this point. But it solves that problem a little bit, and it still just makes it like whatever can get them in there and then out again faster. So if you just want to like make that italic, then you can drop this in a Premiere or like render it out, or, you know, however you want to do it.
Perfect.
So we got that. See if we can jump back to where we were.
John Zorn says that he is an afeared one. So it's all right, John. We're here to get you through.
It's safe.
Yeah, you're in good hands. You're in safe hands. You know, we're here to just guide you through. You know, and if you have any questions, guys, in the chat, hit us up with the questions. We're here to be questioned. You know,
please.
Caitlin, we brought you here to be questioned by the audience at large. So, yeah, that's right. We're going to click on 4 more lights here, and that's a Star Trek thing for anyone who's interested. But yeah, if you have questions, do let us know in the chat. Let us know who you are and where you're from. What are you doing? You know, what do you do with After Effects now? What do you wish you were doing? And tell us your hopes and dreams, and we'd love to hear from you. So
build some of these sweet mogrts. I want to show you too. Again, I'm not going to get into this a lot because this might look a little bit scary. I'm
scared already. I'm seeing a lot of letters. I'm seeing a lot of text. So, what is this?
For ease of use, this is a text file that I just threw my expressions into, since I have like a titles After Effects project file, and I have one for our credits and for our lower thirds. So I need to be able to grab and reuse these expressions a lot. These are all the expressions that I used inside of this to automate some things. Some of these, with the inception of master properties, would not be potentially as necessary.
Right.
I have, let me see the color fill. So to get, oh, I don't have that in this one. I'm gonna quickly go back to my lower thirds.
Someone is asking, Caitlin, are you also Canadian? So people have probably noticed I have a ridiculous Canadian accent.
It's not ridiculous.
Oh, thanks. New dude to boot it. This,
well,
you're kind to say there. But yeah, that's.
I'm not Canadian.
No, but you have a very Canadian name.
It is.
Caitlin Cadieux. There's like 20 of those from the high school that I went to. So, do you know any?
Oh wow.
Do you know any Mary Jose Cadieux?
I will say, my family's French Canadian. So like all my relatives live in Vermont now, so we're very like, my dad grew up like right on the Canadian border. I did very weirdly, I grew up in Oklahoma, very far away from all of that, and there was one other Cadieux in my college, actually. We never met in person, we never crossed paths, but she had the same last name. I don't think that we were related, and she was also like from one of the wealthiest families in the state.
Well, good for her.
Like, this is so interesting. Like, I wonder if we are related, like, way back in the chain, but, like, there's... But you never... People always were like, are you cousins? I'm like, I've never met her.
You may also be related to many maple syrup magnates, so just think about that.
I hope so. I will be doing some research after this
Oh, you could be the heir to the
live stream.
maple syrup fortune. Good for you.
Name a better fortune.
I can't. That's the highest fortune in Canada. So yeah, folks are here in the chat. We're getting loud. It's great. Oh gosh,
Oklahoma is the opposite of Canada. It's like the deep opposite.
Oh, the deep opposite.
It is.
Well, there's no accounting for taste. Go Sooners.
Boomer sooner.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't feel super confident when I said that. I'll bring it back out later again.
Boomer sooner?
You're like,
Well, better sooner than later. So, what are we in now? What are we looking at?
Okay, I want to show you.
This was that color thing.
Yes. I guess I need to take a brief detour.
Okay.
This might happen a lot, and I'm sorry, because it's complicated, but I promise you, getting into mogrts is not. It does not have to be this complicated. We obviously have we need a lot of options, and there are still occasions where a producer will be like, I need this type of lower third, and we just don't have it. And so I'll have to go in and build it out.
Right. Yeah, we want to wow them. This is a tease, so they can see how amazing it'll be, and then we'll show them some easy ones.
I'll show you when I was playing around with master properties. There's a lot of really fun stuff you can do with it, and just for iteration, and it doesn't need to get crazy. I don't think I used any expressions when I was playing around with it, and I have that saved. But for structure, and I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. So in this main comp, I have a control null, and that is where a lot of the color controls with expressions, I link everything back to that because it needs to be in this comp. I have text in here that you can see is not visible.
Right.
And that's purely because I needed to have text in this main comp that I could connect. I have all of these subcomps. I needed to connect the source text to this main one so that I could drag that property into the essential graphics.
And Mike Overbeck here is asking, is the master properties a good way to test your mogrts?
Hey, Mike.
And do you know Mike?
I think we have maybe encountered each other in the past, yes. Yes. I haven't actually personally done that yet, but it was something that I was excited about when I was working on the master properties, because sometimes it's not always locked, everybody, if I show my boss this and they're like, oh, actually, we don't want that design, or we don't, how about we want this color instead, depending on your, I was working with a lot of set brand colors, and the fonts are decided and everything. But what is so awesome about master properties is that, you can change all of that stuff without having to worry about destroying your original. It's all non-destructive, so you can go back, or you still have it if, at the 11th hour, somebody's like, hey, actually, we wanted it to be this way.
Remember those notes? Don't do those notes. Don't apply those notes.
It does happen.
Yeah.
It does happen.
Oh, everyone, let us know when you got notes and then unnotes back to back, because it happens to.
It's almost impossible to avoid in some situations.
Yeah, look, we're all in this together. We've all had those things happen. It's normal, guys. It's normal.
Yeah, it's all part of the process.
It's a process.
Usually, it's good. That's master properties are very iterative, and that's how you get the good stuff. Is if you try stuff out and it doesn't work.
Right.
And then you can still go back, and you still have that as a reference.
To be able to try more things quicker, so you can see, oh, I like this, I don't like this.
Yeah, that's what's so fun about it. It's just, then you can play, and you don't have to worry about...
Right. It's less work.
Ruining anything, yeah.
Could you put some more orange on that painting? No.
You're like, can't get it off. Are you sure?
I'll just
Have you committed to this?
Repaint the sunset. There we go. Nailed it. But it's non-destructive is the best thing.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
So what are we twirling into next?
What are we twirling into?
Yeah.
So, main comp, master comp.
Okay.
I have these two comps in here, and every single one of our 6 varieties of lower third is in here as a pre-comp.
Okay.
And that is what's being accessed with this slider control, the style options.
Right. So if folks wanted to build out a multiple style scenario.
Right, and that way, so all the producers have to worry about is that one slider, and we get to worry about all the stuff that's in there.
Right.
Once you have it set up, it's pretty easy. So I have an expression on every single one of these, and all of this expression is doing is it's linking back to a checkbox control that's in the main comp, which is just on and off, binary, you know. And
if this, then that.
Yeah, so it's linked up to, you know, if this is on 1, then you can see only the style 1, and you can't see everything else is 0.
Yeah.
0, 0, 0, and, you know, so it's 2, 100%, etc.
Yeah, and for those unfamiliar with these wonderful expressions, the if, then, or if, else logic of expressions, it's a pretty good one to learn, I would say.
Oh, yeah.
If you're going to start with one, maybe start with that one.
I would say we can definitely get into expressions that are good to know for this, too, because I use if, else a ton in these. Even, yeah, for just all different stuff, you know, if... I mean, that just basically showed it to you, yeah. But if like, any situation where you want to toggle stuff on and off, so for opacity, that's a really good one. And then you can get more complicated by, you know, tying it to a slider. And literally the only thing that's different on every single one of these is just the number is different. So you copy paste the same expression to every layer, tie it to a specific number. And you can see, too, this is still... you know, looping through stuff. But yeah, that's what it's all about, is just making it so simple. And then this is all that the producers need to see.
Right.
They don't have any idea how hard you worked on it.
Well, I mean, some things never change, I suppose. Technology changes.
What's underneath all of this?
Well, it's a mystery, and as wizards, we can't reveal
That's true.
our magic to everyone.
We are wizards.
You're a wizard, Caitlin.
Thank you. No one's ever had that talk with me before.
Oh, well, you know.
It feels timely.
You didn't get a letter.
I didn't.
Oh.
Maybe you messed up. Maybe I wasn't supposed to know.
Yeah, now I feel bad for bringing it up.
And I want to just jump down into... I'm going to get rid of these because we don't need them. But, so that was our comp we were just looking at. And then in every comp, it's pretty simple. I just have the animation itself. So it has, you know, it animates on, it fades on, and then just the exact opposite to get rid of it. And every text layer is connected back to our main comp, and our color expression, you can like change this. That all goes back to our main control, so we only have to worry about that one time.
This is great. Oh, Michelle is in the chat as we spoke about our meeting before.
Oh,
this.
perfect.
Good. She's hanging out. A little bit under the weather.
My coworker, Jackie, our art director, is asking how I got so small.
Yeah.
And I will say it's filmmaking magic.
Well, the camera...
Movie magic.
Yeah, camera removes 10 inches. That's just a fact about cameras.
You didn't realize I was always this small?
Yeah. How do you think we put you in the overhead bin? So, we're coming up on... we have a countdown down in the corner that's telling us that a giveaway is coming up. So, yeah, get active in the chat. Be very active. You know, tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're doing. If you're just joining us, what is the giveaway? Well, the giveaway is for this fabulous pillow right here. So it's that's coming up. It's a random giveaway to those who are logged into Behance. So if you're watching this on YouTube, this is a reminder to go to Behance and make sure you're active there. Sign in, be active, do those things. It's important. Important if you want pillows, and so that we can interact with you over the chat. We cannot read the YouTube chat. We don't know what you're saying there. That's just letting you know.
Just how it goes.
Yeah, it's a limitation. So, what should we do next?
But well, I do have, because a lot of this, I have all of these different ones built out, but it's basically, it kind of boils down to all the controls you can see here. But I do have, let me see, something that I just kind of crafted.
Right.
Don't want to save that.
An easy one, something maybe folks at home could do.
Master property. I'm just gonna, I made this like super chill little thing. What is this, like 5 seconds? And what I wanted to show you is just how easy it is to kind of get started doing this, because I think I threw this together in like maybe an hour or two.
Okay, well, you don't need to brag to all the people.
You
know what? That's
not my intention.
You know what? That's not true. You should brag to the people because the work you do is amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is the time to
keep going.
Well, I'm supposed to be your hype man, so that's my function here.
This is working. It's good.
Yeah. Now, Caitlin, when you're being excellent, how do you start your day?
It can't be explained.
Oh well, that's good. So you say this took you only about an hour.
A couple hours probably. Let's be realistic
10
about
minutes, half an hour.
So yeah, I just have this like little animation. It's got some text here, some little keyframe boys, and just different things going on. So what I did was with using master properties. I opened up my essential graphics panel, and I put in the source text. I put in a bunch of different color controls.
So when you add those, what is for those who've never done it?
Let's say, I guess I can just take this one out.
Kaboom.
So that one's gone. And so that was this capsule, and that's just this purple little like button right here.
I can't overemphasize how important it is to label things. Everybody, label things by what they are. It's very helpful. Yeah,
layer labeling. I try to even this, it can get a little crazy sometimes. But another thing, to keep your essential graphics panel kind of clean, I like to do this. Actually learned this from some Adobe people, but so you can add a comment. Just drop a comment in there, and that's how I got, I just type in like text and I leave this blank. That's what that is. And to space things apart, so I keep them in different categories, you just like put a blank comment and just kind of drag it in there, and that can just like visually help you.
Right, because at the end of the day, you're creating something that someone else will have to use.
Right, and sometimes it can get a little crowded, and you just want to have it be. And then also, you can use comments to legitimately say, these are all the color swatches. And that's like a note that, your producer in Premiere can be like,
right, what are these? What am I looking at?
What does it do? So that's kind of a handy situation.
Awesome.
So for our capsule color, we want to add that back in here so I can change it if I want to. It's a stroke. So I'm going to come down here to stroke inside this shape layer. You can just grab this and pop it right in there.
We'll click and drag, just like that.
And then kapow. And that is how easy that is. It is super simple. There's a lot of things that you can't drag in there. Colors and different types of controls like checkbox controls. You can drag those in here. Source text.
And some of the big things, like the big updates, are 2D position as well. You can get that in there. So those are your two-part things. That's new. And I think rotation as well.
Rotation, yes. So I dragged that in here, and I have rotation driving this kind of mask that goes on this background. And I have it set up so that kind of pops in that way. If I do it this way, it's still animating in.
Ooh.
And it's not getting all funky.
Interesting. So it's always going to go from left to right. Or no, that's from right to left.
No, yeah, it comes in from, what I ended up doing, it's this mat.
Okay.
And I actually parented that to a null because the position is on the mat.
Right.
So that's animating in. This is how I originally animated it, was from coming in from the right to the left. And then so if I'm only moving the rotation on the null, the position will kind of go along with it so that it's always... Sorry, that is my break software, so I know to get off the computer.
Well, something else I noticed, and maybe other people noticed it too, you're not using a mouse here.
I'm not.
What? You're one of these non-mouse people.
No, I've always really liked using Wacom tablets.
Sure. Tomato, tomato.
Yeah, I think it's Wacom, and it's hard for me to...
If you're from Wacom, let us know in the chat and correct us.
Pretty sure that's accurate, and I'm just stuck in my ways. I come from a 2D background, like graphic design, and I do a lot of illustrating, so I do a lot of drawing too, and I have a Cintiq at home that I adore. Couldn't bring it. It's like 70 pounds.
Yeah, I wouldn't. That's
not worth.
But, speaking of things, guys, it's time for that giveaway that we promised initially for the wonderful pillow. So, if you have not been super active in the chat, now is the time to do so. Become active, get this pillow, and You know, let us know who you are, where you're from, what you're doing, what you hope to do. And Caitlin, someone was asking in the chat here, just clarifying, their name has gone off the top of the chat, but Premiere people will be able to change the color and type, but the effects will remain the same.
Yes.
That's what they're asking.
So if I exported this as a mogrt and I drop this in a Premiere, they would have this option, this source text option, and they can change master properties to party time. And everything else stays the same. Oh, and I lied. I did use a little bit of expressions. I have some things like this text here is linked to the source text of this part.
Right, so updating one will always update the other.
Yes.
Something else that's new is the ability to pick whip between properties now. That's a fun new, fun little thing, I think. It's new this time
that
around.
is true. I have not taken full advantage of this.
Right, so you don't have to, you're saving a few clicks, right? Because before you'd have to alt-click and go in there, and then
you'd have to scroll down. Yeah, there's pick whips everywhere now.
Yeah.
That's really cool. When I first got started in After Effects, it took me a long time. Expressions are very intimidating in general. A lot of them are much easier to use than one might initially think. But yeah, linking those properties, now it's so easy.
Because I was, when people would say, oh, Evan, I want to learn expressions, how do I do that? I would say, well, it's like a language, right? You don't get good at speaking another language. You have to go and do bad at it and speak poorly and ask for how to get to the bathroom poorly for a while, and then eventually it starts to work out, right? But start with key phrases that achieve things you want to do. Like, what was your gateway into expressions? Were you pushed into it? What drew you to the expression?
I think this one happens a lot, but you want to loop something because that's a very common desire. And I think that's how I even heard what they were.
Okay.
Was somebody being like, loop out. That's an expression. And then I was like, oh, there's other things.
It can do other things that aren't looping? Crazy.
Yeah, and at some point, so I don't have a specific memory of when this happened, but you know, you can link something's position to a different layer's position. Or all kinds of things. Again, with that if-else expression, I would do that a lot. Like with character rigs, you know, with an eyeball blinking, I would do this a lot where you would want, like, if this checkbox is on, the eye layer is gone. Stuff like that is really easy to set up. But, you know, if you're really new and you haven't done a lot with expressions, you might not know much about it. But there are a lot of really good resources out there for that, too.
Yeah, and let me just interrupt you real quick and say that Zach Healy, you've got a pillow come to you. Zach Healy, you're the winner of this pillow. So when you're exhausted from looking at expressions, you just lay your head down, and this will put some expressions into your mind. It's delightful cloud. Just it's coming to you. Let us know. Our folks will be in contact with you to get your details to ship you out a pillow. Zach, congratulations. And something else to remind people while we're here is that now down in the corner you can see challenge submission deadline. Just to remind you guys here, if you're watching this in Behance, check out the challenge tab. We're challenging you to take some footage of Yosemite Park, a wonderful park, and to treat it up, put some LUTs on there, change the look, make it more cinematic, make it more beautiful. I don't know how you can make nature more beautiful than it is, but give it a whirl.
But that's the challenge.
Yeah, add some things to it, and you know, the amazing Caitlin here will judge your work live. If you've ever wanted to be judged by Caitlin, now's your time. Which, you know, as a professional judger, it's very important.
I've been training all my life.
Yeah, sometimes I just sit places and judge things. You know, this person walking in, I'll judge them.
It's good practice.
Exactly.
You know, people say you got to do what you're passionate about.
That's right, and I'm passionate about judging people's Starbucks orders while I pretend to work on a novel. So, yeah. So the pillow's gone out, but the challenge is for the big prize, a year of Creative Cloud. So get those challenge submissions in, get them to us, and we will look at them in 54 minutes. But back to the show. So
this is all going much quicker than I anticipated, but I do want to show you a couple more things. First off, that I've already, if you hop over into here, you can see that I've started making some changes.
Whoa,
zoom in
hey.
Here. Utilizing master properties.
This looks different than the first thing, if I had to say. I'm seeing different colors.
Yeah, I've deceived you. This is a completely new comp. No, it's not. With master properties, if you twirl down, immediately you see there's master properties here. And
Okay.
I'll show you how I made this. So this is my master composition. I'll just go here, drag this guy into his own comp. And so then, there it is. There's master properties.
Yeah. Where before, there was only the transform
There
thing.
was a lowly transform.
And now there are two things. So this is the big new change, really. That here are some things that we can change iteratively.
Yes.
Okay.
We've done it.
We nailed it. But yeah, like, and there's all your controls, right? Those are all the wonderful.
Yeah,
things you
so,
put
and
in.
here they all are. And if I want to change the source text, I can write something else in here, like keyframe party,
Okay.
because that's what's happening.
A keyframe party.
And as you can see, it all goes. And I had before, when I deleted this capsule color, so in this version 1 comp, I had this, like now it's back to the purple that was in the master comp. I actually
Right.
had it different. So you can come down to capsule color, and I like to make it something that's similar to this.
Gotta harmonize that color palette.
Yeah, I want it to look real smooth. And so, bingo bango, it's done. And again, going back and forth, you can see this one is different. Our original is not changed. In our essential graphics panel, it's not changed. We have this guy ready to go. And so what's cool about this too is if this was some kind of title open for some kind of very awesome After Effects keyframe YouTube series.
Right.
That I'm starting. No, I'm just kidding.
Stay in your own lane, Caleb.
So maybe we want to, or maybe we're branching out into multiple series of cool After Effects YouTube series. And so
Absolutely.
this is our new show, Keyframe Party. And maybe we want it to be, we want it to have some similar branding, but we don't want it to be the same as our original.
Do you think a keyframe party would have a lot of tweens?
Let's see what our audience has to say about that.
There's a slight delay on the chat, so we will.
No, I'm just seeing literally a bunch of crickets. It's just filling right up.
No, there's a delay. That was a good joke. I nailed it.
It's really good.
So yeah, like if you were to then duplicate this this underscore master, right, and then slide it along, then you could have a whole other.
Slide it along here.
No, I mean in time, but you could move
Yeah.
it in space too if you would.
So let's get weird with it. So we have it the same thing, duplicated, and we can change. The text color will be for this guy. Let's make it not terrible,
Okay.
if I can.
I
So I don't want to like promise anything. Let's start with the background color, actually. I
Okay.
think that's a little bit, maybe we make it,
See, Axel says that was an awesome joke.
just one.
Oh, only
No, there's a lot.
Gary says that joke rules.
That was a pretty good joke. It was.
Yeah.
I have to, I can't lie about that. So let's see if I change this one. What? So now, here's our first one, our original one that we were just playing with, and then literally duplicating the same comp and then accessing these controls. We have this very not well thought out color scheme at all. And we can just kind of get crazy on it if you would care to.
Yeah. You can go as crazy as you'd like. But the big thing is that these are both referencing the same, they're pointing to the same thing. Before, you would have had to, if you wanted different content, you'd end up with 2 different comps in the project.
Yeah. So
That's-
yeah, if you were going to do this beforehand, you would, if you tried to duplicate master and master, it would be the same comp. So this is a fun mistake that people would make that I have made. I'm like, oh, I want to do this twice. Let's go back. And I'm going to make 2 different versions, and I duplicate it in here, and then I go in here and I start changing everything. And then you go back, and it's changed it in both.
Yeah.
I can't really demonstrate that now with all of my carefully assembled controls. But that would be you could end up accidentally destroying some of your animation. And sometimes, you do it without thinking. You're like deep in a project. There's layers, pre-comps for days. And, you can really lose a lot of your work, and that's not a great thing on deadline. It's not. Now, we don't have to worry about that. And I have other versions. Ooh, I left that one in there for you guys.
Oh.
Don't worry about that one. Master properties. Non-destructive. I'm just glad. I got a little more colorful with that too at home, so I'm glad none of that made it in here.
Oh, brilliant.
That would have been good.
So now we know I'm not the only one that writes that.
If you want to stress test it,
Exactly.
you have to not be afraid to really try everything.
Exactly. You need the shortest word that could possibly be in there and the longest word that could possibly be in there.
That is true. And one thing to keep in mind just for templates in general, I have built templates where you want to account for all options. Sometimes your text is masked in or masked by a shape, and then depending on what you're typing, it'll run off. You do have to stress test your templates.
Yes.
Just to make sure. Sometimes you can, I worked with my producers, they'll run into stuff where it's like, this is not working. Like, and this guy has a super long name, and you have to go back in and make changes.
Yeah, we've been... We interview a lot of Russian people with very long names. That gets pretty big. With characters spilling out the end of things. But
you have to account for that.
Because before master properties, if you needed 24 lower thirds, you'd have 24 separate comps to make, right?
Right.
And now, one. Now you make the one, and it's good. If you bring everything up, it's good for all of them.
Right. And if this was a lower third, it would be so much easier. Because it's kind of like a title screen of some capacity.
That's true.
Yeah, but if it was a lower third, you have to change those all the time. That's the point. Really.
That's right. That's their function. The function is to be changed. We finally fulfilled the promise of the thing.
And it's a hassle if, you have one person, one lower third, where you need to make a special exception for something, and you go in there and, dig around in all your stuff. And now it's a lot easier, so you don't have to worry about breaking everything.
Exactly. But yeah, folks in the chat, let us know if this is something you haven't used before. Let us know what you might use it for, and any questions you have about that process, because it really harmonizes, for me anyway, between Premiere and After Effects. People can just stay in their own lane with Premiere. They don't have to touch my stuff in After Effects. I don't like people touching my stuff.
It's not ideal.
No.
Can I show you how those templates work in Premiere? Is that something
Can you? I would, I think people would love to see that. This is where I would prompt the live studio audience. Do you want to see that, folks?
Woo, I can hear it's happening. I heard something.
What?
So what?
It's mogrts, brother.
I'm going to drag something in here just so I have a video.
So now we're in Premiere. We've cracked open. We had the After Effects. Now we've got some Premiere.
Remain calm.
I know we promised you After Effects, but...
And I don't work in Premiere very often, so...
But again, if you needed to stress test your stuff, you'd probably throw it in.
You do, and yeah, sometimes I need to come in here and make sure it's working. There have been times where it is definitely not, and you want to... So I just dropped in one of my old animations. I can hear the sound, which I don't want, but I don't know what to do about that, so we're just gonna roll with it.
Yep.
I'm gonna come up to, is it?
Now this is a piece you did. I just want to.
Oh yeah.
I just want
now it's gone.
I
apologize for that.
So that was a piece you did for the Atlantic. It was a piece by Helen Keller from back in their archives, and animating that whole thing. It was like a big 5-minute.
Yes.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh yeah, that was a long one. I loved working on that project. Let me see if I can bring us back. While I'm trying to troubleshoot. Oh, here we nope.
It's right.
Here we go.
It's right back there.
Here we go. We're just gonna close Premiere and reopen it again.
Yes.
I'll probably start a new project. Yes, we have been doing so. As we mentioned earlier, the Atlantic is 160 years old. It's been around for a super long time. And what is really cool about that is that we've had so many, famous people, interesting people, prominent thinkers of their time publish articles in that magazine. And we decided to start an animated series adapting some of those, and Helen Keller was the first one, so I had no idea, but Helen Keller wrote this really hilarious article for us in 1932 about.
I didn't realize people had jokes in 1932.
Oh, it's so funny. She really knew what she was about. I already really respected Helen Keller, but just like reading, I mean, yeah, she didn't pull any punches. And she wrote an article about how women run their kitchens better than men run their businesses.
Yeah, that's generally true.
Yeah, and back then women didn't run businesses at all. So
as a man who runs a bad business, I can tell you that
I can attest.
It's 100% true. Yeah.
I gotta turn that off. Okay, we're back in here.
Okay, so we've got the video layer, the wonderful video, which I think a lot of millennials will say, oh, that looks like Cuphead. And then people will say, well, actually, Cuphead looks like Steamboat Willie.
It's pretty close. Right. I pulled a lot of inspiration from that time period. Cuphead obviously did it fantastically and in color.
Right.
They got that on me. I painted all of the backgrounds and stuff like this with gouache on watercolor paper. It was really going.
Like with your hands?
Yes.
In the real world?
Yeah. Yes.
You're talking like IRL painting.
I did. I painted them.
All right.
There's some really good breakfast food in here later that I got to paint. I have tiny little paintings. They're great. So one fun thing, guys, about motion graphics, if you haven't done anything in it yet, depending on the project, you can do a lot of really cool, fun stuff.
Right.
There's a lot that goes into it. So
motion design is more collage than other things sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I've always liked about animation. It's like every art form.
Yeah, you get your drawing, you get your painting, you get you're putting down keyframes, you're doing in between frames or whatever. But it's a lot of disciplines coming together.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean you're working on literally everything.
No.
Depending on, at the Atlantic, we have 4 animators, but we all kind of do our projects from start to finish. But if you like illustration or if you like graphic design, there's a place for you doing that. If you just like to animate, I mean, some projects are so, we have people that are dedicated in their roles, like pipeline, stuff like that.
Because a lot of people come to motion graphics from different places. Some people are an editor first, and they come to it that way, or they were a traditional animator first, and they come to it that way, or they used to work in Flash, and they come to it that way.
Yeah.
So there's many roads that bring you here. So it's always nice to see what brings you here. So definitely let us know in the chat. It's another segue. Make sure you keep active. Tell us how you came to motion design, and let's see these mogrts in action.
See them going.
Yeah.
So it will be in the essential graphics panel, I believe. Hopefully there's a drop down for libraries. Yes, this should be working. So in your essential graphics, I'm afraid that it's gonna go all cross-eyed on me again. I have been exporting all of those Atlantic graphics packages into this one library, which, as you can see, is called the Atlantic Studios Graphics Package. Right,
and so the other people on the team, they're looking at the same library.
Yes, everyone has access to this. When we first started it out, actually, I noticed that some were getting saved back in here. And I think somebody was saving lower thirds and re-exporting them, but
we don't need to throw shade on them today.
No. It's just that it can be kind of confusing,
right.
And I want to talk about that because everyone does have access to the same thing, and that's kind of weird to be doing. I still love this because the benefit of this is that when I make an update to a location, lower third or something, if I build a new element, everybody gets it as soon as I upload it.
Right. They could be in the middle of editing something.
Right.
And boom.
So the way we had our graphics templates before, it totally made sense that he was doing that because we used to, it was just, I can't even explain it, but it was so messy and there was a lot of duplicating your files and making new stuff. And this way you don't have to do that. But also, if somebody comes in here and deletes this out of this library, you don't want that because then no one will have it anymore. It's an easy fix. I can just re-export it.
Right.
But it's just something to be aware of is that if everybody on your team has access to this, they really have access to it.
Well, it's like when you have roommates and
you're don't touch.
You've got this cupboard full of groceries.
Put my Post-it note on it with my name.
Yeah, we only have so many measuring cups, guys. If you delete one of my measuring cups, it's gonna be a bummer.
Don't eat. So, to show you how easy this is, let's say that this is Helen Keller. It's not, but let's say that it was. we will grab our lower third. We want to intro her to our audience. This is giving me some grief. Here we go. I'm just gonna mouse it, see if I can.
Oh yeah, so Anna's telling us that she really liked animated movies from Disney and learned to animate, and now is at university.
That's awesome.
Doing that.
That's pretty much how I did it. I am having a little trouble for some reason getting this to go. I will tinker on this.
Okay, and yeah, so because I think you were saying before we talked, before we got in here, but that your entry point was watching The Lion King as a child.
It was. I've been telling that story a lot.
Yeah, for those who caught your NAB talks about The Lion King, but
yes,
like me too. That was one of the first. Well, actually, one of the first animated movies I saw was The Hobbit, the Ralph Bakshi Hobbit.
Yes, I love that one.
Yeah, so that'll mess you up as a 3-year-old.
That one is very terrifying.
Yeah. So I
the
learned
golem in that is very not cool.
Yeah, I learned to fear animation as a child. It was great. But, you know, that animation can be, it's not all for kids, you know. Some of it's pretty extreme, but that was definitely an eye-opener for me. My entry point was actually James Bond movies, the Saul Bass
really
intros at the start.
Oh, that's awesome.
Because I had kind of lackadaisical parents, and they were fine with children watching those movies.
I've been like, why worry about it, you know?
Exactly, yeah. Kids like pulp detective stuff. Enjoy this James Bond film. You'll love this.
Yeah, it's totally appropriate.
Kids watch what the parents want to watch. That's how things went down at the Abrams household. So, oh, you got the thing in there
Got
now?
it going.
Okay.
I couldn't get the lower third in here, and I'm not sure why, so we're going to try that again in just a little while. But, so instead, we're going to say that this is taking place in some sort of location. And so
yeah, what window's open there? That's the...
This is the essential graphics panel, and if I click over to libraries, I got my library. It's all accessible. I dragged the location in just onto my Premiere timeline. So it's right here. I'm going to click that. And if you click on this and have it highlighted, essential graphics, everything is there. So now...
The identical things, just that we can't edit the names of them and
right.
stuff.
So yeah, in the After Effects file, this comment, you used to be able to like click open this and like write it in here. Now, this is just a note that I dropped in, letting the producers know if they need, you know, a box with 2 lines, they can go to 4. And it's got everything. And then this one doesn't have a box. This is number 6, 2 lines, has a title and a subtitle. So everything's just kind of named appropriately. I have my checkbox for left and right.
Okay.
Just pops over there right away. If I go to one that doesn't have a box, I can toggle on. It's not obviously going to work in this scenario, but black and white text. And then if we want to change our color options, this is white. You just can't really see it on this background. But it's got everything in here. So this is what, you know, your team would be seeing, and they don't have to worry about like dragging everything around or, you know, anything like that. And you can just write like Helen Keller's house in America.
Yep, it is in America.
And all of those changes are happening instantly, and now, you know, the animation is still intact.
Yeah.
And what else is really cool about this is that you don't have to keep doing this over and over again, and like resaving stuff. You have your lower thirds all like saved up in After Effects with individual comps. Like I can just drag in another one, another location, and then it's like this is its own. Make it easier to see. Please. Oh, I'm in my original one. Yeah, that's another thing you do have to be careful about. If I have this one selected, I'm only editing this one. So then I can go back to my original location, and all of that stuff is still intact, so I don't have to worry about it. I just accidentally checked off that.
Oh, interesting. Good. So yeah, it's non-destructive. You've got fewer things clogging up the project. Like if you needed to have an individual thing for each of those, now you've doubled it. That doesn't sound like much, but when you have 24 of them in a project, that's a high number of things.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a lot to keep track of. I'm a simple person. I can't keep track of all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's like you don't have to go searching for your files.
Right. Yeah. And it reminds me so much, when I started, Final Cut Pro was the thing people used, and Apple Motion was the thing that did the graphics for that, right? This is very similar to what that company abandoned at a certain
Really?
point. Yeah, like, and it it was during that transition period when Final Cut became kind of a toy instead of a real thing. That's right. I'll throw shade on Apple. I'll do it. I'll talk I'll talk dirty about them. But yeah, so this is the kind of thing that I think a lot of editors probably miss, is having this kind of thing. It's good that it's here. It means that, and we were talking about this briefly, like, are templates good or bad for motion designers, right? Some people bemoan, well, things getting more templatized, rah, rah, rah. Like, well, that's true. It also means you can sell templates to a whole new market of people who will never open After Effects. Because before, if you were to give a template to someone, the old style was they would have to actually open After Effects. Now you don't even have to have, you don't have to have it installed. You don't have to do anything for most of it. If you're doing some very advanced things, you would need it installed at least. But it's opening up new avenues of things, is the idea. But yeah, people are excited about the challenge submissions. Get them in. Give us your challenge submissions.
Nice.
See that clock in the corner? It's half an hour. It's 30 minutes.
That's all we got.
You got to get those things in.
I'm working on it right now.
Well, no. You can't win. You're here. You're judging them.
I'm taking that pillow too.
This is mine, and
that's mine now.
I'm taking this pillow. But yeah, so get your submissions in. You got half an hour to go. Do you think we have time to make something from scratch, perhaps?
I think that would be. I'd love to show kind of how I built that master's properties thing. It doesn't have to be the same one, but just something
and maybe
similar to it.
Maybe talk us through, before you even open stuff up, like what's going through your head when you need to make one of these things?
Just mostly static.
Okay. Just
100%, yeah.
High-pitched noise.
Can't even really hear you right now.
Okay. Perfect. Well, that's my normal interactions with people. That sounds about correct. But yeah. When someone comes to you and they're saying, "Well, we need a title," or whatever, what's going through your head at that point?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, first of all, you do want to get your whole project brief, whatnot. If they have like a pre-existing elements, for example, when I was doing the Atlantic one, it's a little bit the design process. I'm working with our art director, and we have all of our brand guidelines to adhere to. So we have colors done. What do we need?
Yeah.
They need lower thirds. They need titles. They need text cards that they can put information on, or statistics.
And when you have the brand guidelines, like, we use these fonts, we use them in these ways.
Yeah.
Right? That's
You're like,
super helpful.
Can do. Because the design and animation of those templates, the Atlantic templates, are pretty simple. They're relatively simple, but it's exactly what
some would say elegant rather than
stately.
Simple.
They work really well for what we're doing, and they underpin kind of our message or our documentaries. We deal with a lot of very serious subjects, so it works really well in those contexts.
Stately. Does it say stately in the brand guide?
I don't think so.
Oh.
But I might get in there and add it.
I was working with a brand guideline that just had like 3 adjectives. Like, this is what our brand is. Bop, bop, bop. Like, all right, I'm with you. I see what it's all about.
I get it. You've distilled it down to the 3 central elements.
Right, and some people go, oh, that's kind of corny, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, that's actually kind of helpful, because we can reference back and we can say, does our motion convey these ideas?
Right.
What are we going towards? Oh, here it is. It's on this map. This map will take us to the treasure that is good design.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all about the restrictions make design better, I think, because, you do need to be accomplishing a goal. If you're like thrust into a void, it's a little bit harder to figure out your footing. But when you have something that you can grab onto and it's like a target that you can aim for, and all other like other generic statements about achieving.
We got targets, we got maps. What else can we talk about here?
Digging for treasure.
That's right. Yeah. Well, we talked about burying all those nickels previously. That would be perfect.
That was a good one. It's a bummer that you all missed that conversation.
That's true. We
solved
a lot of the world's problems. But
automation is going away. You're welcome. That's not what we're here to talk about, but it did happen.
Yeah. We got a solution. But yeah, it's very interesting. Like, a lot of people, when they're confronted with a project, like, oh, a blank canvas, how stifling. It's like, oh, it could be anything. And so it ends up being nothing.
Yeah.
Like, without goals, what are you doing? You know, what's your goal? Just, it could be anything. The goal could be to make something look good. It could be to entertain, inform, but a goal is important, you know. And it's, you know, it's very refreshing to hear someone else also say that.
Goals are good.
Yeah.
They're good to have. Don't let anyone shame you for your goals.
That's right. Well, you know, when I was young, I wanted to be a robot, but it didn't happen.
That, yeah, I mean...
I'm still working on it.
You know, don't give up.
Right.
But sometimes you do have to kind of adjust course. So one thing, I guess, if I want to make like a lower third template.
Right.
As you can see, I'm well on my way. This is part... sorry, I'm going to turn that off for tomorrow. It's going to be gone.
No breaks.
I will say, take care of your arm. Take care of yourself.
Right.
I have had to get physical therapy for computer-related injuries, and it's not great. So, anything that you can do to give yourself a break.
I thought you said that was a neck-punching injury.
Neck I mean, I think that was probably related.
Right.
There was some neck punching involved. So if I'm going to make a lower third, I don't what show is this that we're doing a lower third for?
Let's do well, you said stately.
Stately and elegant. So
yeah.
Perhaps we remain with this very stately and elegant font that I happened to randomly select.
Serifs are elegant, right?
It's very classy. Maybe this is like a fashion magazine.
Ooh.
I don't know if I'm quite prepared for that.
Oh, someone out there is repping the motion Slack.
Oh, really?
Feed. Yeah.
Oh, we haven't talked about the motion Slack.
Yeah, Lucas is saying, you know, get on that motion Slack. And that's you're a moderator, admin over there.
Yes. Can I talk about that? Can I throw out
if you want to
URL?
Good time for some plugs.
Yes, for those who don't know, I am one of several admins on the Motion Slack, which you can apply to join at motionslack.com. You have to submit a reel.
Right. A body of work of some kind.
Yeah, it can be kind of overwhelming. I like to forewarn people. We have almost 3,000 people on there, and you know, there are 2D people, 3D people, like people who are really new out of school, you know, just working their first jobs, and people who have been in the industry for like years and years and years. It is a fantastic resource for people of any career level, I would say.
Yeah, like if you have a question, other people have had that question.
Oh, yeah.
And you're not alone, and the community's there for you.
Yeah, I've had so many like software like quirks, or like I don't know why this is happening, and people are like, oh, it is this.
Yeah.
You know, people who've been doing it for years who can definitively say, yeah, I ran into that. Here's a workaround. So that's just a support group for if you're having like a tough time on a project. You know, there is that. We have a channel for ranting specifically.
Emotional and technical support.
Yeah. There's a lot of good stuff in there. I don't think I'd be, you know, where I'm at without the help of the community. It's just like such a friendly, welcoming community. So I would definitely recommend checking that out.
Yeah. Esther here. Esther? Yeah, Esther is asking, I have a shoulder problem because I sit here all day at a computer. What break software do you use?
It's an app. I don't know if there's a Windows version. I'm using it on Mac, but it's called Timeout. And it's free. You can pay a small amount to unlock some customization features. Basically, it just boots me off the computer. It's like 30 seconds every 15 minutes and 10 minutes every hour,
wow.
I think. And you can skip it if you really need to override it. But it just kind of like once the 10-minute thing comes up, like you can't do anything anymore. And I still have to do stretches and stuff like that to kind of maintain function. So I use that time. I'll go walk around, or I'll do my stretches.
So if anybody says motion design isn't dangerous, you know, it can mess you up. Like it.
It can, you know, just spending all your time on the computer, and for people like us, it's hard not to.
Right.
I mean, all of my hobbies are on the computer or using your arm in some way. Like I like to like paint and draw, and it's all the same stuff. Like it's all the same vital arm zones that are being targeted. So you just gotta, you gotta make sure that to live your life and go outside.
That's right. Yeah.
I highly recommend.
Get up from the computer from time to time. Enjoy nature. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Lower thirds for the World Horse Dancing Cup, Jimmy Mitchell suggests. No, I'm not.
Jimmy.
I'm not super familiar with horse dancing.
Man after my own heart. Dressage.
Oh, yeah.
So this is for the dressage championships.
This is when my wife will jump in and tell me more things about horses. She's a horse operator.
She is a horse.
My wife is a horse. That's a rude thing to say, Caitlin.
I have a rookie question, and it's that I don't... Oh, never mind. I figured it out. Don't worry about it, guys. I'm not going to ask it now. Because that would be embarrassing.
That was a test for everybody.
What's like a very dressage type color?
Dressage colors? It's usually like beiges.
Maybe a lovely
like
kind of a...
Some kind of gold, silver.
A golden taupe.
Yeah. A lot of metallics sometimes.
Let's see.
Greens. People like a nice Kelly green.
A nice Kelly green could be good, as that is what horses generally prance upon, is a lovely kind
People
of a
named
grass.
Kelly. Oh, wait, what?
People named Kelly.
This.
So this is very simple, but I'm just like kind of putting, as you can see, I already threw the source text up in here.
Right, so you just grabbed it out of the timeline and up it goes. You know, you just click,
Boom.
Drag,
Yeah,
kabam.
so anything I add in there, and let's say that there's like a subtitle, and that will specify
Probably what stable they're from, or...
the manner of my dressage.
Yeah, which class of dressage. I got that one. I nailed
Yeah, is
it.
there like a league, like different? So we can also change these, and so maybe we want this to be, this is always gonna be the name. We'll just double check that that is the name one. And then, so on this bottom one, we can call this, you know, title.
Someone's saying they associate a slight purple with horses there.
Oh, lavender. I love that. JC, you know, that's so accurate.
Lavender horses.
I feel foolish. I actually had horses growing up, but we did not do dressage, and I was generally kind of afraid of them.
Oh, you're more of a
They're
Western?
very like large and fast, and
Yeah. They bite people.
they have a general disregard for human safety.
Yeah. They weigh as much as a car, and...
Yeah, they're
you know.
cute, you know, sort of.
Right,
but-
they're majestic. And
exactly, and you need to treat them with like the requisite
Yeah, you
respect.
need the awe and just respect of a horse. And if you respect them, they'll disrespect you. That's how horses be, I guess.
That is how horses be.
Yeah,
I've always thought that.
that's how horses be.
So maybe this this is not my title, but we'll say like a dressage artist.
Dressagist?
That might be more accurate. And I feel like
I think they just say rider.
it's dressage artist.
Yeah.
You don't know as much about this as I do.
That's right. Caitlin Cadieux, After Effects
Dressage
expert.
artist.
Dressage artist. Excellent, excellent.
So we've got our varying fonts. We have no animation.
Nothing's
gonna do
happening
some-
yet.
Ooh, I'm gonna figure this all out. This is gonna be good. So we want to have our dressage stroke. That was such an excellent suggestion. I don't know if dressage and horse dancing are truly different, but we're rolling with it.
I don't want to Google horse dancing.
Yeah, we have
But
a
I
lot.
won't.
I did Google horse shaving. I Googled what a shaved horse looked like. I'm not gonna go into why.
To do
But-
what? Like put a sick fade on the side of the horse?
I'm just saying there is some really lovely horse shaving art available if you would care to Google that.
Okay.
Don't do it yet, but like
Yeah, stay on the stream, guys.
later,
Google it later.
Google it.
And speaking of staying on the stream, we got challenge submission deadline coming up in 20 minutes. And then after this, you should stick around. More experts are coming up. They've joined us in studio here. They're hanging out. Everyone's just chilling.
Yeah, we're all kind of hanging. So we have our stroke color. And this, you know, if we need to like change it to a more elite purple, we have that capability.
And you guys are talking about character animator coming up next, right? Yeah.
Oh, nice. I want one of those hats. There was that hat he was wearing earlier.
Give us the hats.
I was pretty into that. Just putting that out into the universe in case anyone's going to pick up on it.
Yeah, anybody at all. Anybody in the room who might have access to those hats. But yeah.
So I'm just going to do some simple animation on this.
So Zach is asking what dressage is. It's a manner of horse operation.
I just didn't realize that it would, that this is where it would go, but dressage. It is horse dancing.
And Jason Harvey here is asking, can you make the stroke automatically the same length as your text's width? You can. That is a thing. You could make use of the source rect at time expression.
This guy knows a lot about that.
It's true. It's
I've noticed.
It's one of the things I have tattooed memento style on my person in case I'm ever injured.
You just never know.
Yeah. But the source rect at time expression basically allows you to look at a text layer and get its width, its height, the distance from the baseline to the left side, from the baseline to the top, all these interesting things. And you can definitely set it up so that dynamically a thing can be the same size, or you just have access to the data, really. What you do with it after that is up to you. But
I used that a ton in my my templates. Actually, I want to show you that really quickly, if that's cool.
I just gotta jump into this. Absolutely.
Something that you can do with expressions, another reason why you should look into expressions. Hopefully I can get this to like actually work. So, do you see how the white box like moved?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is what that, like I used those types of expressions to do that. It was surprisingly difficult. But another thing that I ran into a lot in our previous iteration before mogrts were a thing, I couldn't quite get it to work. So I just had preset boxes. I had like a long box and it was always static. And inevitably we would still get people. Even when I made longer and longer versions, we'd still get people that run out. And like the solution then is to keep making custom lower thirds every time. It's like that's not efficient. But now using expressions, we can have it so whichever one of these lines is longer, that's what the box is going to automatically adjust it to the length of that.
Right, because the box is saying, well, which one is longer?
Yeah,
and
so it's checking both text lines and then bumping it up. And this was like a huge game changer for us in terms of just saving time and saving headaches. And I'm not an expressions genius, I will say, but it didn't take too much tinkering to figure that out and get it working.
Well, you are a powerful wizard, so
true. I keep forgetting that because again, did not get my letter.
That's it's in the mail. It's in the owl owl-based system.
It's in the owl.
it's in the owl. It's grotesque.
It is pretty foul.
Oh,
that was unintentional. And I apologize. I'm leaving those to him.
The owl is foul.
He's really nailing those jokes.
Write that down.
I animated these backwards.
That's all right.
We're gonna take care of it.
It's happening live. These things happen live. So yeah.
Or wait, did I? No, I didn't. I did this backwards. That's what I did.
So yeah, there are so many expressions you get into. It's definitely worth investigating, I would say, and we may even cover more of them tomorrow. But at this point, our plan tomorrow is to talk about more animation-based stuff. Today's Mogurt Day. Tomorrow we might even talk about an updated puppet pin tool. Maybe that's a tease for everybody. That's what we call that. So yeah, folks here. See, Tim thinks I'm funny, which is great. Thank you, Tim.
Tim.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for validating.
Good day.
Yep. Good day, sir. Mike asks if we're talking about horse massage. No, this is
totally different.
Very different sport.
Look up horse dressage. There are some really good videos on YouTube of horse dressage where they play like rap music in the background because usually it's like classical music. Right. It's like nice stuff. Not that, I mean, the rap is better. Like, it's so much better. Please check those out. I have no affiliation, but they're really, it's just very effective and moving.
Gets you fired up.
Gets those horses going.
Right.
It's very good.
I think the horse is the most gangster of animals, if I had to say.
You do?
Yes.
Can you explain your thinking?
Sure. I believe the Hennessy Company has made most of my points for me, putting it on their bottle.
Indeed, very gangster.
And they have literal weapons for feet. That's something about
That's true.
You know?
They have been ridden into war for like many years.
Right, and their general attitude, I think, is, they kind of have like you gotta give respect to get respect with a horse. So,
that's true.
That's things about horses.
So it's super simple, but it's just something I threw together for those of you who are dressage artists. You can purchase from me. I'm just kidding. So I quickly and easily just dragged in 3 properties in this window, and now you can change them to whatever you want.
Yeah, just like that.
That purple.
You guys saw it live. That was, you know.
And if I wanted to.
It's roughly 10 minutes of doing plus talking, and out it comes, and it's right there.
Maybe I have my deep purple.
Right.
And then I can go back and still have my classy lavender. So I have, everything in there.
Right, you could update the color for each rider, I suppose, if they have different colors. If the horse is in a gang, it could have different colors. That could be a thing. But yeah.
This should be centered
for
the design. I didn't really get to put as much thought into the design as I wanted to. But
you can go
something
back.
to be aware of now. Yeah, let's see if I can quickly fix this, because I know I got this animation on it.
Well, we got 13 minutes until it's challenge delivery time.
That's true. We got some time to really finesse this.
Oh no, a break's happened.
Time out.
And we're back.
Just gonna bring it back.
Kathleen is saying this horse talk is turning the live stream into my brother and me episode.
Ooh,
Kathleen,
that is the highest praise.
I'm right there with you. I'm a person who I listen to podcasts while I work. Are you a podcast listener? It gets you through. For me, rotoscoping is the thing I need them to get me through. Any frame by frame thing, essential to have something going on. Oh, and Jackie says a lot of horsing around.
That's
going on. Thank you, Jackie.
It's just like work.
Bringing the puns.
We have our own Slack channel at work for animators, and it's very productive.
A
lot of productive stuff happens in there that's work related, and not just messing around.
Yeah, and Tim is reminding everyone, get those challenge submissions in. I remind you now at the 12-minute mark. Get those challenge
submissions in, y'all.
If you're not sure what we're talking about with the challenges, well, you should check out the challenge tab on Behance. If you don't know what that is, and you're watching this on YouTube, be like, I don't see any challenge tab. Well, what we should be doing
we got news for you.
Yeah, that's where you should be looking. You can watch this stuff on YouTube, but we can't see your chat. You got to be on Behance, got to be logged into Behance. That's how you win the pillows every day. That's how you get the challenges every day. Because today, tomorrow, the next day, it's all going on post-NAB show. We got Character Animator coming on after this. We're going to learn more about that delightfully, relatively new product and recently updated from some real experts in making it work. These guys tell amazing stories using these characters, so that's a tease for what's coming up next. Got to keep people knowing what's up coming down the pipe for them. So stick around, unless your boss really wants you to get back to work, and then tell them that this is essential learning. It's for self-improvement.
It's true.
And it's definitely a thing you can have on while you work. So what do we got here? We've got a bit of a title.
I'm going to move on to a title.
Okay.
Another thing.
Getting the full package.
With expressions. So I have 2 strokes now to kind of sandwich this beautiful dressage, this elegant title that we have going. So I'm going to grab one color, and this way, if we want to change the colors of these strokes, we obviously want them to be the same color. So I'm just going to grab one of this little pick whips and drag it up to the other strokes color.
And this pick whipping property to property, that's also new.
Yes, that's one thing. We kind of touched on it earlier, but now I get to trot it out for you. Horse joke.
Oh, I don't.
That was so quiet.
Notice,
it's fine.
Our audience left is what the problem is.
We're actually done. So now if I change just this one stroke color, they're both just gonna update.
Perfect.
Here is one thing. Can I jump over to this new title?
Oh, Sarah's saying she's got 8 more minutes on her render. Man, that's down to the wire. We render it in a smaller format. Don't go full HD on this thing. You can go 720. That's good. Hamza is asking, where are the tutorials? Look, I think a lot of people know that I have a YouTube channel that I don't update often enough.
I might have dropped by that recently and scoped it out.
That's a fact about my life. So, you know, I don't tend that garden as often as I should.
When the knowledge comes, you know, you can't.
Right.
We are but vessels.
And the universe works through me.
But it comes to you.
Yeah, actually,
So.
I mean, the real problem is that I'm usually on client projects, and I do not have the hours in the week to make it happen. And also, make sure my dog doesn't hate me, and that my wife still enjoys having me around the house.
Those are very important.
Yeah, I mean.
Those two things.
Yeah.
Dog, wife.
Yeah, not in that order. The order's the other way. Oh, God. I'm panicking. All right. So, folks who are joining us late here, 8 minutes to go on the challenge submission. Caitlin, Cadieux, getting the live stuff going on.
Getting really fancy.
Yeah. We've got, you know, the text expanding from the middle. That's wonderful.
I really don't know what else would go on a dressage title.
Well, we're going to need you to rotoscope a horse prancing out as well.
I thought about it.
Just in the last 8 minutes.
Whipping up like a little bit of a...
Ooh, maybe tomorrow we make a horse. Maybe. I don't know. I don't want to overpromise, but...
Please tune in tomorrow for definitely some horse-related content.
All right.
I think we'll see what we can do, but I mean, they're horses. If we don't, there will be problems.
See, right now I know that there's no electricity back at my house in Ottawa, so there's no way Sandra could possibly be watching this unless she's tuned in at work.
No electricity?
Yeah, we had like a bit of an ice storm.
Oh yeah.
We're further
almost trapped there permanently.
So I'm much further north on the eastern seaboard than you are, and we are. Yeah, things freeze out there. But yeah. We got folks rendering, we've got folks submitting, we've got Evan refreshing the page to make that happen, so we can observe the things, and I'm excited. We're getting some submissions in. You got to get your submissions in for us to review them, so you can win a year of Creative Cloud, and then you can be doing this stuff for a year. You know.
The dressage, you will be doing it.
Yeah, this will free up more cash, so you can rent that horse, buy that horse. I guess you lease horses. You don't rent horses.
Do you lease horses?
You can lease a horse.
How do you know that?
I told you, my wife rides horses.
Oh yeah, okay. I'm not on. Oh, okay. I'm not on the Wi-Fi. I was like gonna see if we could get like an Adobe stock horse photo.
Ooh, that's true.
We're gonna get the Wi-Fi sorted out next time.
That's right.
And we're gonna really...
Actually, that'd be great, yeah. Then we could just draw our assets based on such a real horse.
Put in a quick horse.
Right now?
No, we're good.
No, thank you.
We would have to actually look through emails. And
I can just craft a horse.
That's horse-like. Oh, yeah.
Maybe this is like what the trophy would look like.
Ooh.
Kind of a... I'm not so used to, some people prefer to do a lot of their asset creation in After Effects. Usually I like run it all through Illustrator. This is a little...
Well, preview for tomorrow.
Yeah, it's a little...
We'll be cracking open the Illustrator, I imagine. And,
yeah, we got to get in there.
Making that happen. There have been significant updates across the suite here in the post-NAB world. But, you know, this is good for... You can communicate pretty quickly to a producer. Horsehead goes here.
Right.
And they say,
so yeah, consider this a mock-up.
Horsehead bigger. Horsehead smaller.
Horsehead needs to be smaller. We're going for elegant and stately.
That's right.
You have to be like, what is that?
It is
a
the suggestion of a horse head. It is the essence of horse.
Dressage.
The essence of horse. Yeah. Draw a quick horse.
I think.
That's right, Jimmy. The good old drama says, horse I see, horse I want. Oh.
Same.
Oh, here we go. And who's this? The time is nay. Very good.
Pretty good.
Very good, people. This is wonderful. Oh, and someone's dropping dropping some Godfather Part 1
oh, gosh.
in there. Well, that took a turn.
Why not?
That took a turn, guys. But yeah, we're having fun here on the stream. 5 minutes ago on those challenge submissions. The clock
We're just
goes
adding.
red.
This is not related to mogrts, but you just want to add in a little detail.
Right. Things don't need to be just static hanging out. It should be...
That's the power of motion graphics.
The motion part?
Oh, he's like
That's kind of
rearing
cartoony,
triumphantly.
Horse!
He has won.
That's what horses do when
This
they
is
win.
the dressage champion.
Absolutely. All horses are champions in their hearts.
See, doesn't that just like fill your heart with competitive equestrian spirit?
Oh, someone is telling me that power is back on in Ottawa, so
Oh, perfect.
thank you.
So she does know.
Cool. Well, I'll be living in San Francisco now. That's my life. Absolutely. Cool.
And if you want to change the color of your horse head.
Right. Should that be linked to the other elements? Should it be on its own?
Perhaps it should be. Perhaps we should link it to that stroke.
Trying to harmonize
To
that
get on.
branding.
Yeah, we don't want too much going on, so we have our horse head colors.
Now you do a lot of searching up in the properties there, I noticed. That's not something that I get into as much.
Oh, no?
No. That's a good tip to kind of find the things you want, right? Like when you have a lot of properties, just search for them. It's right there.
That's true. I do this all the time, especially when I'm looking up colors, just because, like, and sometimes you'll type in, like, fill, and it's not coming up. But I do it a lot just when I, like, want to find the one thing, or if you have a lot of layers, I work on projects with a lot of layers, like way more than this, and you can type in the one property you want to grab, and then just, like, click and drag all the keyframes that you're trying to get.
Right.
That can help a lot, so you're not grabbing stuff that you don't want. If you have, like, 100 things in here with, you know, opacity on everything or something like that, and you want to move it around,
Yeah.
that can be kind of...
It'll save you time. You'll spend fewer hours getting carpal tunnel in your hand.
Yes, and you do not want the carpal tunnel.
Nope. I'll tell you, man. I'll tell you.
See if I can...
Oh, man.
There we go. There's
Oh.
one of them.
Hello, Nancer. Good to see you coming out. And yeah, good.
Now we have our
Lots-
Kelly green.
Oh, look at that.
So we have everything kind of tied in together, and that
That's
way,
very bright green now.
yeah, if they loved this, you can go right back to this. Super simple. If this is suddenly horse dancing, if dressage is no longer a thing, horse dancing.
Absolutely. And yeah, so if we were playing around with this in its master properties form, we could then be pushing the changes.
That's true.
Up and
I
down,
don't think
right?
we showed that, so I'm gonna get into our master properties. And let's say we've, you know, made a few changes in one iteration, and we love it so much that we were like, yes, sold, permanent change. Make this pink. You can push this property change that you made inside one of your iterations back into the master comp to make it super permanent. And I believe it's this toggle. And so if you'll see, that just changed. See if I can undo it. So the master comp is yellow, whoop, pink.
Whoop.
It's all pink now. You can also, I believe, conversely, so I just undid that. So now our master comp is yellow again. And if you go to, you know, your iteration and you're like, oh, I didn't like what I did, you can pull the master comp back in, and it kind of resets it, so you don't have to worry. There's like a million options.
Absolutely. And Destiny joining us late. Anyone, if you're joining in late, if you don't know what happened, well, hey, these things are archived for all time, so you can watch it later. Watch it in a couple days.
A lot of good horse facts. For
Yeah,
you to...
you'll learn a lot about horses. You'll learn a lot about After Effects. Learn a lot about mogrts, and spend time with us. So it's if you missed it, if you came in late, well, you know what? We're also here tomorrow, right? So we're here tomorrow.
True.
We're here the next day, 11 o'clock to 1 o'clock. Tomorrow we're going to be doing more animation-based stuff. You know, today was a lot of mogrt-based stuff, so it's going to be a lot of great things. So this week, yeah, we've got Eric Addison up in the morning, and he's going to be rocking some wonderful things in Premiere, and then we talk about After Effects, and yeah, Isaac and Dusty are coming up next, and these are some geniuses with the character animator. You're going to want to stick around and see some of that as they share some knowledge. So they are, I believe they're the folks behind Zookeeper, I think is them. So it's definitely stick around, check them out. And just like that, I've distracted you long enough for the challenge submission deadline to lapse, and now we're at challenge deadline. I still notice there's no air horn in here for us.
This has not been a request in previous.
Yes, yeah, I need my Jamaica Dance Hall air horn. So yeah, get those things in. I'll be refreshing a page. But yeah, continue on. Pretend like I'm not doing anything.
Continue on. What other horse content can we dream up today?
Well, we've got who's riding. We've got what's going on. Do they give scores? Countdown clock?
That's a great question.
Well, there is a score component, but...
I don't know how the points work in dressage per se, but...
If you know, tell us in the chat.
Yeah, if you do know that...
But also, Joel here says he has a doubt. He has a vector file, uses convert to shape layer. How does he merge it? Like using merge paths, that little operator.
So I'm gonna shout out something because I did that. I accidentally made the horse head and the neck like 2 different shape layers instead of doing it on the same one. But I use a ton of plugins. I use a ton of third-party stuff. So if I can shout out one of those, which I use constantly, is Zach Lovett. I've seen you on this. I've seen you on the stream. I peeped it earlier. I don't know if you're still watching, but he made explode shape layers, which is like down here in this tiny box, which I'll sort of make bigger. Not really, but this this thing is a lifesaver. It's what I used to use all the time before Overlord happened, and Overlord is also a really good plugin it's battleaxe.co. You can find that online, and that's a great way to get your stuff from Illustrator into After Effects. Explode shape layers, it just helps me combine shape layers that I want to be on one layer, or exactly the opposite. If I have a bunch of stuff that I imported and it's all on one layer, I can bust it out into a bunch of different ones, and it gives me a ton of more control. Again, I love shape layers. I like to convert everything into shape layers, but I do a ton of illustration. I illustrate all the assets for the videos I do for work. So I love doing it in Illustrator. It's just really intuitive for me. So those two.
Oh no, a break is happening.
Just totally skip that. It's fine. Still working. So Overlord and Explode shape layers together are make you unstoppable if you do a lot of Illustrator to After Effects stuff.
Ultimate power.
Yeah, cannot recommend highly enough.
Yeah, and it's the sort of thing where you're saving time, and you can put that time into being more creative, more iterations. Now let's see some iterations of some people's challenge submissions.
Ooh, yeah.
We're here past the deadline.
Let's do it.
And our first one here comes from a Robin Goldman. And let's see. The challenge was download this footage of Yosemite, treat it up, give us some, use the LUTs, use the Lumetri looks, get this thing, looking more cinematic, more otherworldly. Just treat it up, treat the footage nice, and we'll have a peruse. So, looks like we got about six submissions in. And if you didn't get yours in, we're here tomorrow. There's people coming on after us, so get them in today. So always submit. And if you're like, well, wait a minute, where's this challenge tab? We should be watching us on Behance Live, so that you can partake in this excellent stuff. So, without further ado, let's review.
Get into it.
Yeah, the review begins. Click. And then loading. Ooh. Punching up the greens, I see. We're getting more green.
It's not that green.
No, it's no. Nature not always looking at green.
So lush.
Yeah, then we got some kind of sunset looking. Ooh, and there's some cars down there. And there we go. So that's a couple shots treated
I love
up.
that pink.
Kind of a.
It does look otherworldly.
Have you watched this new Lost in Space show?
I haven't yet.
Okay. Well,
I haven't. My dad. We used to watch the old one together when I was
the
a
60s
kid.
one?
Yeah. My dad was really into that. So he told me the first episode was good, but I haven't had the pleasure yet.
You gotta peep this first episode.
Check it out.
Absolutely. And here is one from Hafid Idris. Oh, and they got some titles down there.
Oh, nice.
A film by Paul Tranny. Shout out to Paul Tranny wherever you are in the world.
Cadieux, what's up? That's neat.
Adobe Live the movie.
Yeah, that's nice. I'm feeling that.
Kind of a harmonized look between the two footages. All right, what else we got? Oh, we've got some Darbaz Dara. Having a look at the footage here. Before and after. And after
Cool
again.
idea.
Really showing it off. Showing off all the filters they used. Cool. One more. Jiggy Max.
Add that motion.
Absolutely. All right. And then Renato Silva. Let's have a look here. Again, people playing up those greens.
Yeah, I like that. This makes it look extremely natural.
Extra natural.
Yeah, perhaps.
Ugh, too natural. I'm gonna go back inside. There we go. Shorter one, just using one of the clips. And what do we got here? Oh, this is a placeholder.
Placeholder.
Not a submission, that's a placeholder. So we don't need to absorb the placeholder. So let's have a look at those again. Have a peruse. And oh, you know what? I think there's these other two. Right, the placeholders are the
bookends,
they're they're the bookends. So this is India Jones. Have a look here. Sort of a cooling effect here.
Yeah,
feels colder now.
Is it cold? I feel like it's cold there. I don't know.
In Yosemite?
Is it ever cold?
Well, I'd imagine it would have to be. It's like
Sometimes.
there's snow on some of these.
Feels accurate.
Absolutely. There we go, and we have from Claire Cross. Majestic.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
Tweet, 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 tweet.
Can practically hear it.
Splash, splash, splash. Bear noise, bear noise. I was telling you that.
Bear noise, bear noise.
Listen, as a person who's
Is
encountered.
that the sound of dressage I hear in Yosemite?
Dressage, dressage. Yeah, we know. We're horse experts. So yeah, that's all the submissions for this particular round. But again, if you didn't get them in, send them in on the next session. People will have a look. Would you like to peruse them all before making your final judgment?
Yeah, I mean, some of these, it's tough. I love that pink one still. I like that it was like, let's do something totally different.
We'll go through them again just to make sure we don't have that primacy and
Crank it, yeah, crank.
effect.
Let them roll.
All right. So again, starting at the true beginning.
I like this. I feel like I feel like that is what it looks like.
Yeah.
You know, like you're pushing it a little bit more, but it feels very natural. Not super natural.
Right. Just natural, natural.
Yeah, like, you know, this is like, come to Yosemite, like, check it out. Don't encounter any bears.
Encounter 0 bears. Do you have a fear of bears?
I mean, do you not?
I think, I guess I have a natural.
Have you seen a bear?
I've seen some bears.
They're very sizable.
They live at the dump and they collect garbage. That's what bears do.
All the time.
Yeah, that's bears' natural habitat is the dump.
In trash. Not in beautiful nature.
The only bears I've ever encountered were at the dump, I'll say that.
What are you doing at the dump?
Dumping things. What do you do at the dump?
I mean, I've just never seen a bear, like, hanging at the dump. I feel like...
I don't know what to tell you.
Sometimes.
Come to Canada. We got the bears at the dump.
That makes a difference, I feel like.
Yeah, this is Claire Cross's entry. Again, she went for a more natural look on these things. Splash, splash, splash.
It's a water sound.
ASMR. Lovely.
That one's really nice. Again, feeling very natural.
And here's the otherworldly Robin Goldman. Not that Robin is otherworldly.
Otherworldly.
I don't. Yeah, the heavy greens coming out, increasing that vibrance.
Yeah, it's like autumnal.
Autumn-like for those.
For those who don't know.
I want to let you know that I know. That's
Fall-esque.
a lot of fallisms.
Alcoholism.
Yeah. I think, like, when you punch up the purples, you're like, oh, I'm very aware that this grass here has purple in
Yeah,
it,
like
you know?
it starts turning red.
Mm-hmm. This kind of feels more like a thriller, I guess, you know?
I feel like something like it's about to happen.
Yeah, like the third shot is of a body in the, or like there's police tape over there.
Yes, it's very Broadchurch. Anyone saw that? Like, it's a lot of like nature scenes, but then also a murder.
Yeah, that's when Doctor Who retires to the countryside, right?
Yeah, and then he just solves crime using his skills
Right.
in the human realm.
Well, I appreciate him playing at our level. All right, and this is Darbaz Dara again. The side-by-side comparison where we get to see all the lenses going over. So I guess that's the original, and then filter 1, filter 2, and that's filter 3.
That's cool. It looks like it's actually snowing. Like,
yeah,
it
like
looks so snowy out.
I'll just play that again. How we kind of go from summertime, maybe a springtime feel, to kind of a wintertime feel, right? So that's, you know, that's the dream of post-processing your footage. So you're like, oh, now it wasn't like this on the day. Now it feels different here in post. So
Yeah, I've not worked on stuff like that really, but it's pretty incredible
it's
how different you can get.
Yeah, I mean, I myself in my early days, I was handling a lot of the post work in a shop, but now I've transitioned away from it. I don't miss it all that much. It hurt my eyes a lot, I'll be honest.
You're looking really hard at those screens.
You're looking at the screen, you're looking at scopes. It's a lot. So my hat's off to everyone who is a colorist, you know, especially those who did it back in the day when you had to actually use terrible chemicals to treat film, right?
I have never thought about that. And it doesn't sound great.
No. It sounds very smelly.
Yeah, it sounds very difficult.
So that was Jiggy Max with those titles in there. Renato Silva. Yeah, with the vibrant. This one's a little bit more yellowy in the tones.
Yeah, it is.
And we're also judging, you know, how they make use of the footage that they had, and you know, and that's the end of the submissions. So, decision time.
Man, it's tough. There's some really lovely work here. I love the first two, the very natural looking ones. I think that's the bottom. Of course, I don't remember the names.
That's true. Well, you could just point and we'll open it up.
That one, the bottom left one. I will say I'm very taken with the that top middle one where there was kind of a whole title sequence vibe going.
Give it to Adobe Live, the movie.
I thought that was very clever.
Well, there you go. Then we'll lock it in then. Hafid Idris, someone will be in touch with you. Congratulations.
Yeah, great work.
You are the winner. You're all winners, though, in our eyes. Submitting to the challenge, you know, taking time out of your day to be with us. Send us your work. And we're going to be back tomorrow for more challenges, right? So it's important to stick around. Come back tomorrow. You, too, could be a winner, just like Hafid Idris right here with these lovely titles. Play it one more time so you can see the winner. Clap, 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 clap. And there you go. It's coming to you. Filmed by Paul Tranny, Eric Addison.
ASMR. Bear sounds.
Crinkle, crinkle, crinkle.
Dressage.
Yeah. Well, I'm under the impression that all horses are like Pokemon. They say their name.
They do.
You know.
What they're doing.
Yeah, they say what they're doing. Yeah. Oh, so squirrel is a verb, is it? Okay.
That could get weird really fast.
It just did. So, we changed tracks. Congratulations to the winner of the challenge. Coming up after us in about 15 minutes here will be people talking about character animator. We're back again tomorrow. I'm going to do some more animation stuff from 11 to 1, and it's going to be great. However, we've still got time. If you have questions while you're here,
hit me with those questions.
Yeah, give us them cues, and we will provide you with answers. So definitely let us know if you have quandaries. You know, send them in. Quibbles or quips.
I got a question while we're waiting for questions.
You have
if Mogurt was like what flavor Mogurt would you eat? Or is it like a Mogurt situation?
Yeah, it's like Go-Gurt. It comes in a tube. That's the kind of
keeps you fast, etc. Lots of good jokes.
Does regular yogurt keep you fast?
Maybe. It's good for you, right?
I don't eat yogurt. I am lactose intolerant. So just putting that out there. So I guess for me, the flavor would have to be like...
Not any.
Well, fieldberry, I was going to say. You know what? No. It's got to be chocolate, because it's got to be worth suffering after I eat it. Yeah.
I might go for some frozen mogurt.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I didn't think about that right away, but...
Well, when you pose the question...
And they got my mind kind of going.
Well, frozen mogurt would be one that kind of breaks in the middle of trying to use it. So I don't know if that would be
That's true.
pleasurable an experience.
It's not a perfect kind of...
Metaphor.
Yeah.
It's not the best. But what's your favorite sauce to dip your chippies in?
That's a great question. It really depends on the chips.
What's a chippy?
Tiny chip.
Oh, like
I don't know.
like a crunchy
That's
potato.
not like a brand.
Oh, I don't know. I don't know.
Chip, maybe. Queso. Cheese sauce.
Heather B, I'm glad you think that we're your favorites. You're our favorite.
Aw.
We're saying we're your favorite. So
Thank you.
It's a mutual admiration. Maple bacon. Maple bacon yogurt.
I got horse flavor from Jackie. You know, I'm pretty sure I've had horse at some point. I feel like that's something I've had.
Yeah,
maybe not. I don't know.
If you travel around Europe, that's a thing. Yeah.
My aunt and uncle raised rabbits.
Cool.
To eat.
For meat and fur.
Yeah. Cute. Delicious.
Life's rough out in Oklahoma.
That was Vermont,
Oh,
actually.
they're Vermont people. Ooh.
Vermont rabbits.
Oh, so they're artisanal rabbits.
Yeah.
Featured at bed
Organic.
and breakfast. Only almost organic. So yeah, here we go. We got someone asking free scripts for working in After Effects to AE. Can you name some? Some of the ways you get from your Illustrator. How do you get your chocolate in your peanut butter, your peanut butter in your chocolate? Two great tastes that taste great together.
The one unfortunate aspect of that is I don't know any free ones.
Right.
And I don't know, I mean, there's got to be something out there for that, but off the top of my head, I don't know. I know Overlord's a steal. It's at like $45. But honestly, I can't live without it. Love it. Love you, Overlord.
Blows my mind, you know, it's offered at such a low price. And it's one guy. It's Adam doing it up. I mean, he has help on it, of course, from some folks, but it's mostly just...
Yeah, I mean, he's awesome, like kind of crushing it with all of the stuff that he puts out, and
because he also did Rubber Hose, right?
Yeah, Rubber Hose. I also use that all the time.
And the butt capper, you know, that's 3 for 3 wins.
Butt capper's free too.
Right. So if you want a free,
so it really is a steal. You're literally stealing if you download Butt Capper.
Well, it's pay what you want. You can give him money for it if you like.
I will say, yeah, like it's just a huge game changer in terms of workflow.
Mm-hmm.
So before, you know, when I started out, I was just importing my After Effects files and maybe breaking them into shape layers, but it's pretty time consuming.
Yeah, and one of the troubles I always had was, you know, making things artboard relative or, you know, layer relative, and then going back and having to do updates to the Illustrator file, and now the thing's in the wrong place.
Yeah, it breaks sometimes.
Yeah. The anchor points are totally different now, and it looks bad.
Ooh, somebody's asking if there's a script to flip the keyframes.
There is.
Yes.
There's a few, actually. There are many.
The one that I use is Key Cloner. I believe it. I don't know if I have it installed on this machine because I have a workstation or an iMac at home. But I believe it's Key Cloner, and there's a lot of, it's made by the same guy, Paul Canigliaro. Look that up. So if it's not Key Cloner, because I have a bunch of his scripts, but he has one that you can flip keyframes, you can copy and flip keyframes.
And across multiple layers,
yes,
right?
Which is great. So you can copy a bunch of different keyframes on different layers and then go down and paste them, and it just all works. So those are awesome. He has a ton of great scripts, so I would check out Paul Canigliaro's scripts if you can.
Richard would like to know if he can have a hug. Richard.
Are you here?
I'll give you a hug. Just stop by and...
Bring it in. We're waiting. So you got a few minutes.
There it is.
We'll be here tomorrow.
That's true.
You got some hugs in the chat, so.
Absolutely. Yeah, folks are saying Video Copilot has some free stuff. Via FX Console has a bunch of free things. There are a lot of free resources available to you out there. But that being said, I think some of the best plugins are paid, and I don't mind paying to continue the work. Like,
right.
This person has put in a lot of hours into this thing. I want to see more like that in the future. I should support the thing
Yeah.
in the way that it wants to be supported. And I think that's a big thing to do, is to say, you know what, you're supporting me with this plugin, I support you with these monies. And
That's what makes the world go round.
yeah, just like the song says.
Well, and motion design, like, it's just such a helpful giving community. So there are a lot of free resources, but also, like, the opportunity to support each other it's awesome.
Yeah.
You know, and it helps us all keep kind of doing what we love to do.
And I kind of think about it like tipping. Like, you know, if I can tip a $1 for a beer, you know, which I consume for my own vices, I can tip. I can tip for a tool that I use that improves my life.
And these scripts are the gifts that keep on giving too. Like you get updates. Like sometimes you have to pay if it's a big update, but again, it's worth it. It's so worth it. But a lot of the time, you know, on scripts, different scripts that you can get, you'll keep getting updates, and you know, it kind of pays for itself after a while.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's worth doing, and it makes you feel good. You know, you open up the thing. Well, maybe it doesn't make everybody. You'll feel good.
Yeah.
It makes me feel good. There, I said it. You know,
I'm gonna buy a script right now.
Well, I mean, that's like a retail therapy problem. I don't want to get into this. Buying things makes me feel good. That's another crisis. Yeah, we're on here for another 3 or so minutes. So if you've get your questions in now. We will be back tomorrow for those who are sticking around, and you know, it'll be same time, 11 to 1. Stick around after we disappear and change out of here. We'll have the excellent people from Zookeeper will be here. They will be they've let the animals run wild, and they will be showing you how to animate them. It's going to be great. I don't know if they're specifically doing animals, but they do a lot of great character work, and just bringing that stuff to life. Yeah, yeah, that's right, Athar. We're tender moment on the stream. Lots of hugs.
That's another one of my coworkers.
Okay.
I see you, Atar. It's true. We're not very tender with each other at work, you know. We're always no, I'm just kidding. We're very supportive of each other. Our little team of animators.
Good. So you're on a team of 4. There's 4 others like you.
And then we're all on the video team, kind of.
The larger video team.
Which I think is like, I could name all of them, but I think it's like 16 people or something, or 14 people. It's somewhere around there.
That's a pretty big group for a news magazine, you know, and that is like print based mostly, isn't it?
That's true, yeah. A lot of our stuff's online now. Like, I think the website is a pretty big part of what we do, and then
internet, you say.
Have you heard of it? It's pretty good.
I've seen.
I mean, some of it is terrible.
I would say 90% of it.
A lot of it is pretty bad, actually.
But
shut it down, guys. Can you pull the plug? Pull the internet plug.
Oh no! Don't pull the internet. We're on the internet right now. Don't pull that plug.
Yeah, wait until after.
Someone's asking, are there scripts in Illustrator or Photoshop? I'm not sure of many sort of Illustrator and Photoshop tools.
I have a couple Illustrator ones I want to shout out.
Okay.
I guess it's all the same, though. From Astute Graphics, I use a lot of they have a bunch of different plugins, but since, again, I do a lot of my illustration, my asset creation in Illustrator, they have, I think one of them is called like the Draw Bundle, because they come in collections.
Right.
And it just has some really great tools that let you control points or like erase points and adjust curves in ways that don't kind of ruin your, you know, sometimes if you delete a point, it'll totally ruin your curve.
That's right.
They have tools that help you not do that, and they're awesome and totally worth it. So I would definitely recommend checking out Astute Graphics plugins if you like to work in Illustrator a lot.
Yeah, and John is asking, what's the subject for tomorrow? We're going to be animating some stuff.
Animating some stuff.
Animating stuff, making some assets, animating, and we'll see you tomorrow. So that's it. Caitlin, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Evan.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime.
Okay, tomorrow.
Bye for now.